So team, welcome to Selenium plus Java Advanced Basics plus Advanced Live Training, day 2. We are just in the second day. So what does it mean is, first we have completed an orientation session to give you a picture of what are all we are going to learn in this part of Selenium. So that is just like an orientation. So nothing we dig deep into any of the topic. We just try to understand what we are going to learn. Putting it briefly together, it's about Selenium 2.0 you're going to learn with the main components like Selenium IDE, which is going to spend about 3 days, followed by Selenium Webdriver. We're going to spend about 10 to 15 sessions, including basics plus advanced. That time I have to talk about Java language also wherever it is required. So we'll be covering Java language, followed by we have an advanced concepts like Selenium Grid. We have frameworks to talk about data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, hybrid framework, then integrating with other continuous integration build deployment tools like Apache Maven, Jenkins, etc. So this is for the people who are just directly coming today. And what you need to do is we have already made this orientation plus day one videos available in ITLN website, as well as they are publicly available in YouTube, so you can go through before join the next session, but definitely everything will be there in the ITLN website. Okay, what we did predominantly in day one is a very simple thing we did is we installed the Firefox browser, because by default your Selenium works. It doesn't mean that it's only for Firefox, but by default it works with the Selenium IDE, the first component that we wanted to discuss works with Firefox browser. So all I did is install the Firefox browser that I have, did not have it on my laptop. In fact, I had it intentionally deleted to show that on that day. So I kind of walk you through some document from which I'm going to share it with you guys. It will be there in the website at part of every video. There will be a download section. From that you can actually click on download, and you'll be able to download these files, whatever I give. So we installed the Firefox browser. That you can also do it, just go to Google, let's say whatever the operating system that you are using, Windows or Mac or whatever it is, according to that, install the Firefox browser. Once you install the Firefox browser, the next thing what I did is from the same website, from the same browser, I went to seleniumhq.org. This is a primary website for all our installations on the Selenium front, that we're going to do it on the need basis. So then I went to download section, and then there are so many components as I was talking about. So I directly went to Selenium IDE part of it, and I gave a quick introduction about this. This is, as you can see, it is a Firefox plugin. So it is not going to work on any other browser. It's going to work only on the Firefox browser. And this is primarily for you to record and play back some script, basically the user interactions with the browser. So typically how does it's going to work is, by the way, how many of you have actually installed the again, it's not the question for the people who are just coming in today. People who have attended, did anybody install the IDE and did you face any questions? So, but to talk about, this is my browser or my web application, and this is the browser, or I would say, so whatever the actions that I'm going to perform on my web application will be recorded as a script in Selenium IDEs. Selenium IDE will generate this as a script, and we just said the name of this language is not Java, nothing else. It is called Selenese. It is called Selenese language. So whatever I recorded on my web application will be generated as a script, and this script can play back only on the Firefox browser. Please make a note of it. It can play back only on the Firefox browser. And when it actually play back on the Firefox browser, then it is going to perform the same actions on my application. It cannot playback on any other browser other than this Firefox. Okay, let me take up some questions like as I asked you, did anybody install? But before that, Vinita has a question. Are the previous videos are uploaded? I already told it's there in the ITL and website. Uh, Ranjush has a question. Did we had a second session on Thursday 21st? I tried to attend with the link I got email. So this is just the day two. So we just had orientation followed by day one. One kind request, could you please do the Q&A session at the end of the session and throughout the session, because it will take up the whole idea of concentrating on. Yeah, so I will basically what you're suggesting is taking Q&A at the end of the sessions. Because just the orientation day one and day two, people will have lots of questions, so that's why it's mix of topic plus Q&A. But once you people also get a comfortable idea of what you're going to learn, and once you're comfortable in learning, definitely it is about 1 hour, 1 hour 10 minutes, or I would say 1 hour will be predominantly on the topic, and 5 to 10 minutes will be on the questions for sure. You just went black, could not hear anything. Okay, probably. Banu has a question, how about page object model? So what we do in page object model is, if you know some of the basics of this, everything is through Java classes. For every web page in your application, we take up all the controls or locators, we create into a separate class, and we are going to call those objects wherever it is required. So one class for each web page of your application. Okay, Sujata has a question. Is there any reading material in addition to the class? Yes, so most of the examples and everything, wherever all these installations, etc. I'm also a human being. I cannot remember all this, right? So what I will do, I have documented all of them, and we will be opening it up and trying to go through from that and then install those things. Whatever the examples, I'll be discussing different examples in different sessions. So whatever the examples that I will be covering a bit here will be definitely documented, and it will be available for you as a download in every session topic. So once you log in into ITLN website, suppose you go through day two video. Beside that, you would find one download link. If you click on that, you would find the day two of or document of the day two. Does that answer your question, Sujata? Okay, Rajesh says, yes, I installed IDE, but it was not able to identify my selection from auto suggested drop down. Okay, we'll see what exactly the specific problem. How can we access documents? As I just told you, it will be available as a simple download at the end of every session. Basically, day one, day two, day three video we will be segregating and putting it. Just beside that, you will find one download link. From that you can download. All right. So what I did is we installed the Firefox browser, followed by we have installed Selenium IDE also. Before installing the Selenium IDE, from where does you install? Just download the latest version from here. It's just an add-on. It's just an add-on to your browser, and once it is, so you need to just watch the day one video, which we did it. Once it's successfully done, then you will see an icon here. This is called Selenium IDE. To launch it, either you just click on this particular thing, then it will launch the tool, or you can go to this menu, go to developer, and then go to Selenium IDE. Or if you want a shortcut, Alt plus Control plus S. That's a short key for that. So this is how you launch the IDE tool. Okay. Even though I just did one basic example in the last class, let me take it. Let's see how you can create a new test suite. I'll just go to File. Okay, Jayesh has one question. Is it possible that IDE option may get disappear from Tools menu? It happened with me, so I removed from add-ons and reinstalled. That should not be generally a case. Maybe did you restart your browser after that? After installing the IDE component, adding it to your Firefox browser, generally it will ask you to restart your browser. So that you should do it. Otherwise, okay. Just try one more time, and it should not be the regular case. Okay. So now that it is available here, uh, let's first go and create one new test suite. All I did is file new test suite. What is a test suite? A test suite is nothing but a collection of test cases. For example, you have test case 1 to do something on your web application. Then you have test case 2 for validating something. Then you have test case 3. Like this, you have number of test cases. All these you are going to bundle into something called a test suite. Okay, like what we generally do in any other test management tool. It's the same thing. So right now this is untitled. So if you wanted to just name it, go to properties, give some name, something like test suite. So I'm going to use one application, something called, just to get familiarity first, I'll be walking you through some common website that we all know. But from tomorrow onwards, we are going to use some of the websites that we actually developed it, for the real customers through IT-elearn. Probably I can show some of them today, and then we'll be using them as and when needed. So this is one another business group that's closely related with IT-elearn. Again, Karthik is a founder and CEO for this. For example, if you go about, so this is basically for digital marketing. So whoever people are looking for any digital marketing solutions, this is the company, and there are a good number of clients that they are currently working at. That's one website that we will be using as and when needed. There is one more website also. We have something called ClearGuard. Let me just check. It should be there in my IDE also. Okay, right. 77. Uh, it's dev dot. Okay, let me figure it out. The exact link, I should be have it in Skype chat somewhere. But something related to an e-commerce website also we have. So I'll be start using that. Okay, somebody has pinged it. Mightily, thanks for that. Probably you might have done a live project. Thanks for that. So this is one another e-commerce based application where you have typical features like you can create your shopping cart, make an order, etc. So like that we have different applications, so we'll be using them as needed. For now I'm going to do one simple thing. Remember one important thing: by default when you launch the tool, it will be in recording. Like I can show you right now in any of them. Just click on this ID. So make a note of this, it's already by default in recording. So if you do anything on the Firefox browser directly, it will be start recording those actions. So before I do all this in the Firefox browser, I actually stopped the recording. So that's why I did not record any of those. Clear? So what I'm going to do is I'll just go through one of the website initially, do one basic thing to the same Selenium website. Let's see, is it recorded? But first one, you can see it's went to this URL. That's what it happened. Because I browsed to that, it went to that. The next thing which I'm going to do is enter some basic thing here called Selenium Webdriver. Now see what happened here. There is some operation happened called type on this particular text box, and I have entered something called Selenium Webdriver. The next thing which I'm going to do is just going to click on this go button, and for that you can see what happened. So there is something called click and wait happened, but the mouse got clicked on the above, so it came in a wrong position. So you can actually simply drag and drop it below. Hope you're all following. I'm not doing any unknown thing here. It's a simple thing. Cursor was here when I showed you that line, and that's why the line got generated above. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's straight away just go and record everything first, and then we'll see the thing. Now we got this link, so let me go and click on this particular link. The first link called Selenium tutorial videos. There is some link. Okay, something just came up here. Sorry, sorry, one second. So something, a video just came up. Then what I'm going to do is, let's play back up to this. Let's stop it here. Now if you see, some kind of code got generated. If you see the code, the first line is trying to browse to this particular website. What is slash? Okay, the slash importance here is that if you provide your base URL here, if you provide your base URL here, that is the one which is going to open. Whatever you mention, target slash base URL will be opened automatically. If you don't want to provide as a base URL, what you can actually do is, instead of slash, you can just go ahead and put this particular URL here. If you understand the code which is generated, it has three parts. One is command line. So this command column indicates what commands you're going to perform. Some of the Selenium commands like open command, type command, it is trying to do some select frame command, click and wait command, etc. Right? That is about some of the commands. So all those you can actually see it from here. You can just put a new line, and then you can, suppose you wanted to search a command which starting with something like, if there is anything like C, then you would see all commands starting with C. Then if you just type something like B, then there is only one command called break. Similarly, if you put something like T, then you have type and wait, type keys and wait. Like that, you see all the commands. So that is what operation that you are instructing for the Selenium IDE to perform on your Firefox browser. The second one is on what locator, on what object, or on which control you want to perform the operation. That is what is indicated by target. The third one is a value column. Not that every single step would require a value, but some of the steps like this, if you see, we went to a search box and we entered something called Selenium Webdriver, and that is how you got a value being generated here. So wherever you deal with a text box, or whenever you deal with a list box, if you are selecting something, um, those kind of controls requires value. But if you are obviously browsing to some URL or clicking on something, or you're just basically you're clicking on a particular button, then you won't need, when you're clicking on a link or when you're clicking on a button, you won't need any value. So any questions on these three columns, what they're actually representing in the script? One is a command, one is a target, one is a value. So we will write some of examples manually, so then you'll understand better. Okay, Rajeshwari has a question. Base URL is Selenium. Oh, okay, that's another thing. Since I opened a Selenium website, that is coming. But this is whatever you do it. Let's do one simple, another test case. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll do it on a different website. Any of these, for example, atomic77.com. You don't need to actually open also. Let's say when you are actually started working, you are in some website. Okay, right now my Firefox is pointing to Google website. But in my ID right now, what I'm going to do is, I'll put it in recording. Okay, we have not seen the execution yet, Shailaja. I'll just show you. Okay, just click on this record button. By default, it will be recording. Already click in recording, that you know. If not, I'm just clicking on it. Now here, I will say atomic77.com website. whatever you browse, that will go as your base URL. Okay, let's just do one more step, then script will be recorded. For example, I would say first I'll click on about link. Okay, so can you see what happened now? The base URL has been changed to atomic77.com. And when you say slash here, Selenium's commands will indicate to IDE that he wants to open a URL, whatever is there in the base URL. That is the meaning of slash. Okay. So the next thing what I did is I clicked on about link. So you're in the about page right now. After that, I will go to this contact page. Okay, I'm actually scrolling down with up and down arrows. That's not a problem at all, because I will tell you once I play back the script, I'll tell you how Selenium will identify the controls. So even though I'm scrolling down, that's not going to be recorded. So right now I'm in a section where there is a name. So I'll just provide something called Shankar. I'll just say IT email. I'll give something like Shankar at itelearn.com. I'll give some number, and I would say looking for digital marketing solutions. Okay, I've just entered all these fields. Those are all different text fields, and then I have a submit button here. I'll just click on this particular submit button. Now let's go back to our IDE and see what all it's generated. So as you can see, let's stop recording first. Now you can see from the beginning, the first thing that it is trying to do is open slash. What is slash? Whatever is available in your base URL, it's as good as putting it like this. But since it doesn't want to repeat the same URL multiple times, it is using a concept called slash here. Is everybody clear what is open slash now? Or still anybody has any questions? When you give slash, whatever the base URL that is there, that is a URL which is going to open. It appears that we have to do at least one command on the base URL page to show on. Yeah, it's not just browsing it, but if you do one more next step, then actually what happens, this one and this one will come at a time. That's what is going to be the normal behavior. Yeah, so those are some of the things that you'll actually explore as you do it. You're right, Gary. Okay, so that's the first command. You can also do one more thing. I'm telling you the next feature, just try to understand. Right now, I just browse to some other site to show the execution. First, let's play back the entire script once, and then we'll go line by line. Is that fine? For executing the script, what you can do, you can simply say play current test case. This will execute only the current test case. What is the current test case? This is untitled 2. Probably I'll rename this something called atomic 77, something like test 1. So I'm going to, when I say play current test case, it's going to run atomic 77 test 1. And some of you mentioned it in the last class that, when you executed the script in the fast mode, things were failing, but when you actually set it to slow mode, things were working fine. So there is a fast and slow mode execution. Depending on your need, depending on your application, internet speed, behavior, and everything, you can actually go with the fast or slow mode. So I'm putting it in the middle right now, okay, just to see the execution. And then we'll say play current test case. Let me scroll this side. If you can observe the execution on the IDE, the current line, whichever it is getting executed, that will be converted into yellow, and after executing, it's converted into light green. Okay, if you want, you can see the execution in a slow mode. I'll just put it for you and then say run it again. You can see before running everything is in yellow, and whichever the line that is currently executing, that will be in little dark yellow, and when the line gets completed, it's in a light green. There is one more dark green also will come whenever you're actually doing some validations. Right now, if you see this script, we are not doing any validations on this. Do we have any test case validations here to talk about, like, are you checking that any error message coming or confirmation message coming? We are not really doing any validations. All we are doing is opening the website, we're going to about link, then we are going to contacts link, and then filling all the contacts information, and then we are just submitting it. So we are not really doing any validation here. That's why nothing is in dark green. But I will definitely add some validations now after executing the basic script. Can you drag the IDE to the right so that we can see the execution? Okay, all right. So I'll just do it like this. But my main thing, I wanted to show how the script was getting changed. Let's do one thing. We can see both of them. Something like this, and then something like this. Is this okay? Can I run the script now? Can you see both of them? All right. Still unable to view the website. So if you want to focus on website, yes, then we can maximize on that. So then you won't really see what's happening on the IDE front. That was the idea. Okay, why didn't enter the name and other details? Because I have recorded that, right? So we know the step on the IDE plus the step getting executed on the website. Yes, if I keep it side by side, you would know which step that is currently executing. See, there are, that's what I'm coming to the next. There are so many other options. For example, you wanted to run only up to here, for example. Then what you can do, just right click and say breakpoint. Can you see something called toggle a breakpoint? If you insert a breakpoint, then execution will happen only up to here. Okay, to see on the application, yes. For scrolling down and all, if you can add some specific commands accordingly. See, that's what the point I was about to tell you, right? So actually, if you don't want to really see on the website what's happening, then you don't need to add any scroll. That's the beauty of it, actually. So if you see in your contacts, the information is somewhere here, okay? But if you don't want to scroll down like this and see, the way it actually works is in the entire web page, whatever the information that you are saying, for example, in Selenium command, you're saying type name equal to contact name. So actually you don't know what is this name equal to contact name. I will show what are those controls, how to identify using a firebug and everything now. But name is equal to contact name is somewhere here. This is the first text box that is matching. So with this information, this is very, very important information what you're actually seeing right now. Name equal to contact name. This is the unique identification to this contact name text box. If any locator matches with whatever the locator match with this information called name equal to contact name, Selenium will simply blindly go and play back on that. It could be name text box, it could be some other text box, it could be anywhere on the page. It'll simply go playback in the entire. See, what happens is your entire website, if you just right click, it's a source code. You all know this, right? So this is just a source code of it. In this entire HTML source code, it will go search which control has that name equal to whatever the object contact name, I think we have name equal to contact name. That's all. It does not have really any other validation. Like if you know QTP or UFT, then you might have seen a different object identification mechanisms like mandatory properties, assistive properties, blah blah blah. Now this is a simple concept in the entire HTML source code of your web page. Go search for whatever the target that you have given. If the target is found, it will simply go and do the operation what you are saying. Another important point, very very important point. What if two controls matching to the same? For example, there is one with contact name and one more text box also with contact name. Can any guess from your experiences of other tools or Selenium, or what best answer you can give? There are two controls matching with the same property. Few of you want to take a shot and give an answer, whatever you know or guess or whatever it is. Gary has already given. HTML tag we compare. So basically what happens, you're saying, Madhumila, will it fail or will it run is your question. No, Madhura says value is different. Value for identifying the script, it does not really care about value. Value is something like an ABC what you're asking to put it there. The problem is in the first two, the target column, whether it is able to identify or not able to identify is the first question. If it is able to identify, then what you're asking, what you're entering, that's the secondary thing. Okay, Rahul is guessing Selenium will take another HTML identifier. Madhumita is saying something like a tag. Uh, okay, Sarala has a question. Not sure if you're talking. What is it, your question, Sarala? Can you please elaborate it? Okay, we know that also says it will include one more parameter. One is click, another one is type. No, those are operations. I'm not talking about commands right now. I'm just talking about target. Okay. Generally, if you are coming from a QTP or a UFT background, let me explain this. If you are coming from a QTP, UFT, or any other automation background, typically what happens is, for example, this is a very important point. That's why I'm spending time. Let's say there are two controls, two text boxes or something, and let's say this is also name. Ideally, it has to be first name, last name, something. But for some reason, the internal properties of it, like when we go into the HTML code, let's say both of them has a name. If it is UFT, QTP, or any other tool, your script will simply fail. Why it will fail? Because it will say, I'm confused now whether I should go and put the name Shankar here or here. You have not instructed me anything. You just told go put the name Shankar in the name text box, but there are two name text boxes. So I'm confused. I'm failing it. That's what QTP behavior. Please listen, not Selenium behavior. QTP or UFT. Okay, now what I'm saying is, again, there are some other properties that you would do it, like, as you're actually talking about creation time, locator identification, unless you enable them. I'm talking about a basic behavior. Of course, you have a smart way of identifying. I'm not, discouraging QTP tool here. I'm telling you about the default behavior of it. Now, Selenium what can does is, even though there are two controls matching with the same name and same properties, it will go playback on the first control, whatever it comes. Because all it is doing is it is going through the code, HTML source code. Okay, it found a control here, it will play back. It doesn't really know there is any other control with same properties below. It doesn't really care about it. As soon as it's fine, it will just go put that command. Do you understand the difference between QTP, UFT and the way Selenium works? Especially people who are migrating from that, this is a little change that you have to understand. In QTP or UFT, by default your script will fail. Here it's not going to fail, rather it's going to play back on the first locate. Okay, now if you look at this code, what we are trying to do, so we just play back the entire code once, but let's look at line by line. There is one more option, especially when you are manually writing the code and all. What you can do is you can just double click on a single line to see it execute only that particular line. Right now this is how my web browser is looking, right? And I'm going to do just only one line, just one line. Open the slash, double click on that line. When I double click on only that line, can you see what happened? That particular line is being executed, right? Okay, Suma has a question. And when it goes to second control, it doesn't even care that it does it. So that's logic is not there at all. All it is just doing is traversing through the code. That's all. As soon as, for example, you have given link equal to about, if it is found in the first place, it will go click on that. Below, if there are any links are there, it's not going to bother about it. Okay, Asfia says duplicate element, then we can use, yeah, so I'm not going into any of those locator identification strategies like ID, name, XPath, CSS. Guys, like, some of you know some of the topics, so please just hold on. When we talk about each topic, we'll talk in detail. Right now, my focus is to show you some of the basic scripting on an IDE on the day 2 part of it. So I just double clicked on this open slash and you can see that particular line is being executed. Now I'll go to the second line, click and wait and double click on it. When I just double click on it, what's going to happen? Can you see about link got clicked? And that's why you're in the about page right now. You can see it about page. This talks about who are the team that's developed this and all that, right? It's again, I told you, none other than our ITLN team. This is another related business group of ITLN. The next one we have again a click and wait, which is basically, okay, if you want to simply click on a particular link, why click and wait? Simply you could have used something called just a click operation. But if you see intelligently, it's using click and wait. Okay. The difference is if you simply click on a link or a particular button or anything, okay, fine, it will just go click on that. But click and wait is something, it will actually wait until the page basically gets loaded. So that's why it is always recommended. So you all know, if you're coming from any other automation background, again, synchronization problems, which we are going to discuss in detail when I go to WebDriver in Selenium. But to talk about it right now, we normally get synchronization problems. What are synchronization problems? Synchronization problems will be like this. Suppose this is my application. This is my application AUT, application under test. This is my Selenium tool or IDE tool. Now, if I simply, let's say I have this code and this command is only click. Okay, it's not click and wait, it just click. Okay, this particular line clicked on some link. Okay, there is a link here and it's clicked on that link. But after that, there is one more page needs to be loaded. On that, the next line needs to be executed. But since it just only click, it'll click and then immediately go to the next line. In the next line, it has to supposed to do an operation on another page, but the page is not loaded. Then what happened? This command will fail. So this is a synchronization problem. Your script is going fast and your application is loading slow. For those kind of a problems, we use this command called click and wait. Especially when you're dealing with IDE, you'll use something called click and wait. So in this case, what happens now? It will not simply click, but it also wait for this page to load. Then the next line will work properly without any problem. So wherever an operation or a command going to take time, it's going to use click and wait. But wherever it does not require any time, then it will simply use a click operation. Is that clear why it's actually using click and wait? Okay, same thing happening here. Click and wait on this, click and wait on contact link. Okay, let me play back this third line also. Right now we are in about link only, right? So let me play back third line. I'm executing line by line just to show what's happening. Again, I'm going to double click on click and wait contact. So now if you see third line is being executed and you're actually in the contacts page. If you actually scroll down, you should see that. So you're in the contact page. Fine. Then we have this type name equal to contact name. Let's do one small change here. Rather than typing the same value, I'll just put something like Shankar underscore QA, something. I'll just put it here. If you want to edit the value, it's simple. Just go to this value text box, edit, the same value will be appeared here. The next what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on that particular line. Now whether it is being executed or not, just scroll down and see what happened. So can you see the value being pasted here? Value being typed rather, not pasted. Value being typed. Okay. The next thing I'll do, we have a name. Okay. Then I would say IT-Learn. I'll also put something like IT-Learn. Can I auto generate the values on the text? Yes. Once we know the Java language, you can randomly generate some number, or you can generate some random string and you want to put it. We can do all that. For that, you need to know Java language. Once you know, we can do all that. Okay. Then I have a company name IT-Learn, so I'm going to play back as it is. Just double click on the line, and can you see IT-Learn being typed on the company name, right? Similarly, email. It has Shankar at IT-Learn. I'll just put something like Shankar underscore QA. And I'm going to double click on that line. And you can see it's being pasted or typed here. Then I have a mobile. I'll just chase some number here. And just double click on it to see that. So you can see the number being generated there. And then we have a message. So in the message, what we have entered, or previously we have not entered any message. I think we have entered. No. Okay. If you see what happened, can you see these two lines? Can anybody say why this line extra? I can directly go with this. I don't really need this one. But during the recording, I might have just first clicked on it here. Then I might have entered some value. Yeah. So we can actually remove this line. We don't need. How to remove any unwanted lines? Right click, delete. Simple. Just right click and say delete. Now we have something like looking for digital marketing solutions for, I'm adding something for my website, something like that. I'm just putting it. Okay, if we have a username and password, and if you wanted to hide password in value, can we do that? So by default, ID, you cannot do that. The value will be showing here. But when we go to WebDriver, we can do some encryptions, not in the ID. ID will show the value. Okay. Let me just double click on this. Now you can see the value being typed here. And click and wait on the button, the contact form, double click on that. Now you can see a submit operation has been done. So this is how the values and the script is being generated. So any questions in this script before we try to do something new, like probably manually writing or adding some assertions and values, or some checkpoints, etc. So any questions on this basic code? Any questions on this columns, command, target, value, etc.? When we are writing code manually, how do we get it to know target? Yeah, that's what I'm going to show you. Then we have to introduce something called Firebug. I'll introduce to that Firebug and then we'll write manually. But before that, do you have any questions on this code? I also showed one more thing in the day one. You can actually save this code. Just say save the test case in any of your file explorer. Right now I'm doing everything in D drive, Selenium folder. I have something called IDE scripts, and then I'll say atomic 77 underscore test1. By default, the script will be generated as an HTML file. So I showed you how does that script will get generated. Go to D drive, go to the folder in which I have created IDE scripts, go to this atomic 77 test1, and then open that. It's basically an HTML document. By default, your script is generated as an HTML document, and this is the same code that you have seen on the IDE, the same Selenium commands: open slash, click and wait, type, and then finally. So frankly speaking, not many, even though the script lines is like 7 to 8 lines, similar commands have been repeated. Like open is one new command you have learned, click and wait is one new command, type is one new command. That's it. Only 3 commands. Sorry, click is also there. There is one more. So 4 commands only you have learned from this example. Remaining is just repeated because the same controls are getting repeated. Same text box are there. When we do different things like Sarala, I think there's only problem from your side today. You're the only one complaining blank again. Probably when I'm switching the windows, it takes few seconds. So that could be the reason. But if you're seeing the screen back, then we are good actually. Okay, Parul has a question. What if we wanted to run our script somewhere from middle? Yeah, we can do all that. We can do all that. Okay, so this is how the script is going to be generated as by default in HTML format. Okay, as you're saying, if you wanted to start from the middle, you can also do that. For example, right now we are in the contacts page. Yeah, I think we are in the contacts page. You know that up to, let's say, this opening the main page, clicking on this link, that's not a problem. You wanted to run from here, just do a right click, and then you can say set or clear the start point. Now the starting point is here. And then when you run this code, it will actually start from that. So you can do those things also. Some of those simple options that are available on the right click. And now you can see the first 2 lines have not executed. It started only from here. So again, you can do a right click and remove that option. If you wanted to run up to certain lines, for example, I wanted to run only up to this. Sujata has one basic question. Suppose we go to completely different website and run the code from the middle, what happens? Not from the middle, Sujata. Even if you run from the begin, it will fail. As you are saying, it is a different website. How can you expect it in a different website, the same controls like about, contact, email? Why do you expect the same controls on a different website? They may be there, they may not be there. This is a website in which we have these controls. Suppose you go to Facebook, what do you find? You find some first name, last name, blah, blah, blah. Why do you find this something like a message or a contact, etc.? You'll find different things there. So okay, since I have not introduced the concept called Firebug, how to identify the controls, probably these questions are raising, but just hold on. It's completely different website. It's going to fail. Simple, it's going to fail. Okay, going back to that question, not only you can start from a middle, you can stop in the middle also. For example, you want to stop here. After just typing the email, you want to stop. Right click and say toggle a breakpoint. Now the breakpoint is inserted here. What is a breakpoint in any automation language? It will come and pass at that particular line. The script execution will be passed at the breakpoint without executing that particular line. So let's run this. And now if you see it starting from the first, but it will go only up to that line. It will not go further. Click and type. Okay, Kirti has a question, but shouldn't the code open the respective website and complete the actions? Let me read the question. No, Sujata's question was a different website, not a different browser. Kirti, if it is a different browser, yes, you're right. For example, what you're saying, if I go to another instance of browser window, and if you're asking me what will happen if I run this code, you're right. It'll open from the scratch and start playing it. Her question was altogether a different website. For example, instead of Atomic 77, she may go to something like facebook.com or gmail.com. Correct me, Sujata, if I'm not understood your question correctly, but that's what I can read it from this question. Suppose if we go to completely different website, so that is the meaning of website. If we go to different website, controls are different, then you will not. Why all that? For example, I'll just show you, answer one simple question. Okay, let me remove this breakpoint. When you're actually recording, this link equal to about, right? Okay. Here itself, if this something is different, for example, I put link equal to about one, what happens? In the website of atomic77.com, we have link equal to about, but we don't have something called link equal to about one. See what happens. It will fail at that particular line because it will not be able to identify that particular thing. And can you see it in red? It's showing failures one. And what is that failures one? You can see in the log actually. So there is something called log in the bottom and clearly tell you a link equal to about one not found. There is nothing on this website of Atomic 77, a link called about one. So this is exactly what's going to happen when you go to a different website. First line itself will fail because that control will not be there. Does that answer question both of you, Kirti and Sujata? Okay. So this, Rahul, you are requested please to take questions at the end of the session. Okay. I told you, right? So I don't want to, you guys have to be comfortable in orientation day one and day two. You should mutually, like, uh, uh, you should actually get a comfortable feeling that you're uh, learning in the right space. So that's why, but otherwise I told you from tomorrow, we'll spend last 10 minutes only for the questions. Okay. But something if is really important to cover at that time, I'll take it up. Otherwise we'll do it at the end. Okay, this is a log where you can actually see the errors or everything getting passed or failed, etc. Okay, so on the right click, we have seen some of the options, right? So like, we have seen toggle breakpoint, we have seen set or clear. If you want to execute only one that particular line, I told you either you can do a double click or you can simply right click and say execute this command. That is also fine. Only that particular line will run. Okay, those are some of the right click options we have. If you wanted to add a new command, for example, here you want to add one new line. Okay, what I wanted to do is after clicking on about, let's just play back that. Okay, after clicking on about, I wanted to see this particular text called our ninjas is coming or not. I wanted to check. If you see whether you're on the home page, are you getting that? No, in the home page, you are getting something different. What you're getting in the home page, you're getting about our actions in the home page, right? Then when I go to about only, I'm getting something called our ninjas. So this is something something that we can say, okay, when I click on about, we are in the right page or not, I can take this, right? So let me add some basic validation here. What I'm going to do is, after click on about, I want to add one line. Okay, so just right click there, then say insert new command. Okay, click on insert new command. Can you see one blank line got inserted? Whichever the line you select, right click and say insert new command. Above that, one blank space will be available for you. If you're comfortable in writing manual, you can write manual. If you want to record, you can record. Still we are understanding only the recording options yet. I will show you what you can do, but definitely I'm going to show you manually what you can actually generate the script. So let me put it in recording. What I wanted to verify is record. I want to verify this text is coming or not. Our ninjas is coming or not. Okay. I highlighted the text. See the options. Right click. You have some of the options like verify the text. There's an option called verify the text. Okay. What you're actually doing, this is something that you're actually testing. After going to the about page, whether you are in the right page or not, with some text, you are doing some verification. So that's why it is automatically showing on the right click of any text. When you select something and do a right click, you can see those options, verify text. There is one more option called show all available commands. Then there are some more things like you can do an assert. We'll talk about what is the difference between verify and assert probably in tomorrow's class. But I can go for verify text. I can check whether the element is present or not. I can wait for the text. I can wait for the element. I can store the text value into some variable. We'll see how to work with variables also in the IDE. You can store the values into a variable and then you can display with some @ command, all that. I'm going to simply do a verify text option here. Okay. I did a verify text option and you can see what happened here. Stop it. So now you can see, delete this line. So you can see what happened after you click and wait on about, you're actually checking whether you're in the right page or not by doing some check now. This is actually a check. Verify is a check. Assert is also a check. So tomorrow we'll see what is the difference between verify and assert. But for now, we can understand verify alone. So verify text on this particular control, we are checking this our ninjas is a text coming or not. Okay. I'll just play back only up to this. Okay. I'll put a breakpoint here. I'll verify. I'll run the code only up to this and see what happens. Now you can see it's coming in a dark green. Whenever you do some validations, whenever you do something like this, verify, assertions, and if they are passed, then it will come in like dark green. Other lines, if you see open and click and wait, they are in light green. They're just executed. Frankly speaking, focus more on IDE because that's going to automatically work anyway. Okay, let me rerun it again. Okay, we are in this our ninjas page, sorry, basically about page, and there is an our ninjas section. That's what I'm actually verifying through this third line, and that's why you can see it's in a dark green. It's passed because the text is matching here. You can do all that. You can do pictures, you can do verify, all that. Okay, let me put a different value. I'll just put something like our ninjas 123. Is this a value that is existing? So what I'm actually changing it is I'm changing it in my code a different value, but whatever is there on my website is a different value. Now let me try to play back. Then what happens? As you all can expect, it will fail because the text is not present on the website. And now you can see it's in dark red. And if you go to log, you would see why it's actually failing also. It says actual value, our ninjas did not match with your expected value, our ninjas 123. What you are putting it on your ID is your expected value. What is there on the website is the actual value. So when this situation can happen, suppose even though you are expecting our ninjas in first version of the script, and let's say your developers in the next version, they modified something. Instead of our ninjas, they provided some other text. Then also your text will fail because your expected and actual are not matching. So that is a command called verify command. Verify exclusively, we are verifying the text here. But similarly, you have verify element present or not. Like as you all have seen, just do a right click here. You have this show all available commands. In this, you have something called just verify element present or not. Can you guess what this command would do for you? It will just check whether the element is present in that website or not. If the element is present in the website, it will be successful. Otherwise, it will fail. Right? Can we do, let's do one more thing here. I think probably I can quickly show verify and assert now also. What is the element present? Element present, whether the element is present on the website or not. That's it. If the element is present in the website, it is pass. If the element is not present in the website, for example, when you develop the script, about link was present. But let's say in the next version of the website, about link is not there. Then element is not present. So your script will fail. Is element and text different? Yes, element is basically the locator. So what this is a link, right? This is a link. It's called element. This is also an element. This is also an element. This picture is also an element. This our ninjas, the text element. It's called text element where you have only text, and this label is an element. So element is basically a controller. Okay, I mean, so one thing I told you, don't fall in love with IDE alone. IDE is not your world. We are going to spend only today and tomorrow. That's it. Because IDE is going to help us only to understand this part. Just to understand this part, how my control is getting identified. You need your energy to be reserved to work majorly on WebDriver. But okay, I mean, you can go and practice on that. As somebody was saying, can you show me element text is all that I can, if on keep on showing, we can spend about 20-30 sessions only on ID, which I don't want to really do that. Since I showed you verified text, actually you can easily do that, right? What you can do, just right click, insert new command. Okay, is it the right place to do it here or before? Can anybody say? If I have to show element present option, is it better to do before verified text or after verified text? It's obviously before verified text, right? It makes sense to do before verified text. So insert new command. Okay, now because if you are doing it after verified text, that means anyway you're expecting the element to be present. So it does not make any sense. So here, what you do, right click, sorry, record, go here, select the same text, right click, then you can say show available commands, wait for element present. Okay, then go stop it. You can see delete the blank line. So now you can see what happened. A command used called verify element present, and it's actually, if you see, this ID and is the same because same control we are recorded, right? So it's the same thing. You can see slash slash div. What is this? You'll understand slowly. This is actually called XPath. Okay, some of you have mentioned XPath and all, but I'm not expecting you to know anything about XPath at this moment. So, but this is actually called XPath. And why the value is here and why the value is not there? Can anybody say? If at all you are just comparing these two lines, why the value is not here and why the value is here? Because in this line we are actually verifying the text. In the before line we are not verifying the text, we are verifying element is present. No, that's all. Okay, just double click on only that line to see if it works or not. Can you see, is it executed? Oh, it's wait, no, sorry, we wanted to do a verify element present, right? Sorry, record, right click here. Okay, whatever you have already taken, now can you see they all start coming here? Verify element present. We want to do this, not wait for that. Okay, verify element present. Okay, now we can, yeah, I think right there came in the right position. Verify element present, then you wait for it, and then you verify the text is coming or not. But do you think this is really required? This is not required. Ideally, it should be before. In fact, if at all you wanted to do it, should be like this. First, wait for the element to present. Check whether the element really present or not. Actually, both. Oh, okay. All right. So people who have the next session of QTP, I think you should go in and attend. Okay, I'll just play back this and then we'll wind up for today. Okay. Now you can see it's came in a dark green. That means your element is present and it's fine. Okay, so today what we have learned is some of the very basic how to generate the code, and as you, in fact, I have showed some of the things that are there on the right click of execution. But tomorrow, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to introduce another tool called Firebug, and then we'll write the same script or a different script manually. Then you'll get more confidence on how to do this and what is this target, what is this value, etc. Then we'll add some more insertion, basically assertions and validations, etc. Then we'll talk about variables and some other concepts of advanced IDE, and then how to take this script into WebDriver, probably day after tomorrow session. So, ideally from starting from day after tomorrow, at least by end of the session, we'll be switching to WebDriver, and then we'll be focusing from there on the WebDriver. Clear? Okay, so anybody has any questions before we wind up? Yeah, I think Mukta, you can go and join that. Okay, so Gary has a question. Can you show up where does the documents, and right now I have not placed anything yet. But what happens, all these videos will be available in the IT-Learn website, right? Once you log in with your credentials, whoever has got your credentials and membership access and everything, uh, once you log in with your credentials, and if you go to this Selenium batch, this particular batch, then you will see day 1, day 2, day 3 videos will be coming like that. Whatever 30, 40 sessions will take, all that videos will come. If in any particular session, if I used any document, in the same section, you would see one download link there. We have not placed, I'm telling you, this is going to happen maybe in a day or two. So in that particular download section, you will find the document. If you download, and it's basically your document. That's how it will come. But to be frank, nothing is being placed yet. We have only videos available on the website right now. Vinod has a question, is Firebug is part of Selenium tool? No, Firebug is not part of Selenium tool. Firebug is just part of Firefox browser. I told you, right? Selenium is not a single tool. We have to download so many different components from different locations and put together to work or to take care of our need. So nothing is a part of Selenium. In fact, you have to do everything downloading from different locations and stitch it together. Okay, Shailaja's question, is it necessary to verify each and every command? No. Wherever you have test case expects to do, you have to do that. Where is a batch going to be on the IT website? Okay, probably uh, see, since today is also a demo, they might have not created, but definitely what happens as soon as you log in under the category of Selenium videos, you will find this batch date. I think we started on last week, if I remember the date correct, 19th or 20th. So with that date, a link will be created, and in that link, you will find all the videos. Till now, all these three videos, including today's video also, it will go public. It will be there in the YouTube also. So it's not specific to only members. From tomorrow onwards, the paid sessions are starting. So that it will be available only in the website. Probably Gary, I can get back to you tomorrow with the exact link where it will be available, because until today it's anyway public. You will simply get an email post today with all the videos also. But otherwise also I should be having it's there. Let me just check. You should go here, online courses, Selenium training videos. In fact, this should be one of the orientation of it. And let's see what is there in the, yeah. So you will find a link with like this, 19th January. And the same videos link also will be something like this, 19th January. Then under that you will see all the videos. But for that, just try logging in first. Can you see something like this? This is what I have discussed in orientation session. So like this, it will come. Once you log in, the link will come with all this information. Do one thing, I'll ping you the exact link tomorrow from where you can actually download, where you can view the videos, people who have membership. Okay, I see for the first two classes, I haven't gotten any videos from you. My email is, no, okay. I will inform Gary, okay. So did you registered into this event, right? That's how you have been here. Otherwise, yeah. Ideally, all the people who have registered should get an email. I'll ask the team to double check specifically for you. All right, team. So let's go with this for today. Tomorrow we'll continue on the IDE, probably tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, first half also will be on the IDE. Towards the second half of the session, we'll be switching to WebDriver. From there onwards, we'll spend good amount of time, like 15 sessions on the WebDriver. Totally basics, advanced, everything we'll try to understand. All right. So have a good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you're from. See you tomorrow.